I call them the 5 no-nos. And
It's the Channel Mom Show with Jenny Dean Schmidt. We're here for you.
Every kid is unique, and every mom wants to capture that uniqueness on film. Bring your family's memories to life, supersized and gorgeous. Just click Turpin Portrait Gallery's ad to the right of this video to get your summertime promotion for kids and families.
Hey, welcome back to the Channel Mom Show, where we are here for you, Mom, right here on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510, FM 93.7. Hey, we want to welcome Bethany Jett back to the Channel Mom Show. Shelly has my book over there. Shelly's going to have another question for you. She is the author of The Cinderella Rule, A Young Woman's Guide to Happily Ever After. You really would like this for your teenage girl. It's got some great instruction. If stuff you don't want to address with her, you don't want to talk to her yourself, but you want her to save herself and not get into horrible trouble before she's 20 years old, this would be a great book for any girl out there. For people that are questioning, why shouldn't the girl pursue? We're in a day and age where women can run the show. Why shouldn't a girl pursue a boy if he's the one she wants? You suggest very strongly that that's not a great idea. Why don't you talk about that?
yes, I think that we need to let girls know, especially in middle school and high school, that they don't need a boyfriend, that this is a good time for them to build really strong, girlfriend relationships and figure out what they want to do and pursue, hobbies and talents and things. And because, boys at that age especially are less mature and they just have this different wiring inside of them, when a girl pursues him, he will probably say yes no matter what. He may not even like her, but she's a girl and she's there and he'll say yes. And eventually that leads to heartbreak because he didn't really like her in the first place.
Wow.
But I'm also a cheerleading coach at one of our local high schools, and one of my cheerleaders, I heard her in the back seat of the car as we were driving to a game, and she said, I've texted him 5 times and he's not responding. And I turned the radio off, and then we had a talk about a man will do what a man wants to do, and if that boy wants to text you, he would have texted you by now. And, he wanted to text you in the first place, he would have found your number and done it. So, she's building herself up for this huge letdown because obviously he wasn't that interested in talking to her, and yet she was the one who kept, texting him.
Yeah. How did she respond when you told her that?
Oh, they liked it. They're like, it was this new idea. And so we talked about, if he asks you, then he wants to go out with you. Like, you don't have to be chasing him. And guys like the chase, and especially girls, we love the movies where the guy overcomes every obstacle to get to the woman he loves. But we think that's just in the movies, but I think that's real life.
Yeah.
They will do that if they want you.
Yeah. I would embarrass my husband, but my husband did do things like that because I've known him since I was 4 years old, and he did do things like that in even elementary school. But it was a little young. But in high school, he would do whatever to make me feel pursued and treasured, and that was awesome. So that's my shout out to my husband today. Shelly, you have a question that relates to this.
Well, I have a personal theory that a lot of this is a dad issue, and I don't have any stats to back it. I don't know. There might be stats out there, but if a girl is missing a dad, which a lot of them are, is this something that they're pursuing these other boys because of that?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. A lot of the girls in our youth group and in my cheerleaders, there's not a strong male presence there. And so I think that's one reason they are seeking that at this age is because they're looking for that affirmation and that love. But they're, it's just the wrong place for them to be looking for it. And, and there's a lot of heartbreak comes from that, too, because they're willing to do anything they can to have and hold on to that male attention. I agree.
What are the conversations you have to point them into a better direction?
Well, with my youth students especially, we talk about God as a father, and sometimes that's hard if a girl doesn't have a dad in her life because she attributes the negative feelings towards her own dad towards God. But we just talk about, how God will never leave you, and he's perfect, and he's not like, whatever situation she dealt with her father, and God hates that happened to her.
Yeah.
And if she can find, rest in God, then that fills that hole, and then they're not seeking that male attention anymore because they found the one thing that will fill that.
Sure. And that's a tough thing. I mean, even for my kids who are churched and, I've been reading the Bible to them since they were little, it's still a tough thing to say that the unseen father is enough. Because sometimes teenagers are like, no, it's not enough, and so sometimes it's hard to get them there, but it's so true that if you're able to get them to that place, look, God treasures you and you're worthy of being treasured. Don't demean yourself by throwing yourself at every guy. And, I love that you said this thing that's so real and honest that, hey, you know what? there's a good chance he doesn't even like you. He just knows he's going to get something out of this.
Yeah, boys are like that at this age. It's just how they are. They're just not, as mature in relationships at this point.
Yeah, and I'm not putting down men at all. I'm just, it's just a fact that he may not, like you said, the girl may pursue him and he may be like, I don't really like her, but sure, bring it.
He's still into video games. He's not ready.
I want moms to understand that you've got specific advice, point by point, that girls can get from this book. And by the way, you write it in a very teenagey voice. It's not holier than thou. It's not prissy. It's just, these are the facts, girls, and this is how I'm here to help you. You've got 5 tips, I believe. Why don't you talk about those?
Yes, I call them the 5 no-nos, and it's in the boundaries section, close to the boundary section of the book. And I think that, and I tell girls that if they're going to be dating someone, then they need to talk about the boundaries, because otherwise there's open game,
Yeah.
And so moms and dads, especially both of them, can talk to their daughters about where they expect their daughter to be physically in a relationship, and I think that's good accountability. So the 5 no-nos are no laying on each other, and even like on the couch, even if the parents are in the room, if a girl's laying on a boy on the couch watching a movie, like, he's not watching the movie. So,
thanks for your honesty. Okay. Number 2.
Number 2, resting your head in each other's laps. It's a little less bad if the guy has his head in her lap, but she should definitely never have her head in his lap.
Yeah.
No hanging out in bedrooms. And I talk a little bit about my own, falling away, in high school. And we were allowed to be in my boyfriend's bedroom when his parents were or weren't home, and just went too far. And my boys will never be with a girl in their bedrooms if I can help it.
Yeah,
because of that. No laying down together on couches or floors, which is sort of the same as the laying on each other. Because laying on each other can happen in the high school hallway. They just drape on each other, no matter where they are. Yeah. And then kissing in the car was the last one. And this one was actually, my husband is a Marine, and we met in college, and we would go out and come back to the campus, and there were people everywhere, but he would immediately turn the car off and get out, and I thought I did something wrong, does he not want to date me anymore? But he said that he had gone way too far with his many girlfriends in the past, and he had seen something different in me, and he didn't want to be tempted to make a mistake, and so he said nothing good happens in the car, and so we would get out and go sit on a picnic bench, and talk or just hang out for the rest of the night. So I thought, that's true. If you start kissing in the car, anything, can happen.
Yeah. Wow. So he made mistakes of his own.
Yeah, he was sexually active before we met, and was just there's emotional pain from that too. We don't talk about.
I want to hear that, because I think most people would tell you, well, guys just need sex, they'll have it with whoever. It's all good to them. It's all good. They have no regrets. But you're telling me that that's not the case. Tell me, are you allowed to tell me what your husband has said to you?
He regrets it because he didn't get to give to me what I had given to him. So where I had fallen in the further physical contact area in high school, I never actually had sex. So I was still a virgin when we met and got married. Mm-hmm. And he loved that about me, that there was this innocence there that only he got.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of deal with thinking about all the other girls that had experienced him in a way that only I wanted. And so I kind of had to deal with that a little bit. But, he wishes that he had waited, but he said, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
There's heartbreak there on, but there's always hope too. So even if you have had sex like he did, you can still stop, because he didn't have sex with me when we were dating.
Yeah.
Well, there's a healing piece.
There was still a wonderful wedding night.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shelwa.
Well, I like that you touched on that. There is still redemption. You can still be healed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there are a ton of moms and girls out there that might think, great, it's too late for us. Why should I even get the book? But that's not the case, right?
It's never too late, no. And I encourage moms to get a purity ring if possible, and it doesn't have to be a specific ring. My parents gave me just my birthstone and a little gold ring, and I wore that. And I talk in the book about how when I was doing things I wasn't supposed to do, I would move it to my right hand and take it off my left hand, because I knew I was doing something wrong, remembering. But I gave it to my husband. I sent it to him an hour before the wedding. I had someone take it to him, and he loves it. And we have 3 little boys, like you mentioned, but if they find it, he gets really upset. That is something you don't touch. That ring just represents something really special to him.
Oh, that's amazing.
I encourage, the girls to get one, or moms to get one, because it's a physical reminder. I moved it to my other hand. I mean, I saw it, so it's this tangible reminder that you want to wait. And so sometimes that can help you not do something.
I'm so aware because I've kind of lived in both worlds. I lived in the world in college where everybody was, running around and sleeping with everybody and hooking up for one night stands and drinking a lot and all that stuff. And they kind of had we don't talk about it because it's all good. It's what we all do. It makes us happy. We party. We have fun. This is what we do. But I know that there are people who are listening and people in their cars and even guys who are like, you know what? It really isn't all good. There's some stuff afterwards that isn't so great. And there's some pain that's tied to it. And there's some regret that's tied to it. And there are diseases that are tied to it. Mm-hmm. And there are babies that nobody wanted, which is terrible that nobody wants a baby because that's a beautiful thing. So I hope people will be honest with themselves, that they can say, well, we all do it. We all live together because, cohabitation is up considerably. You know that. Marriage is less popular. Cohabitation is more popular. Yeah. So we know what everybody's doing when they're cohabitating. Mm-hmm. And I know I sound like a fuddy-duddy, but if people are really honest with themselves, they're not all good. They're not all good when they spread themselves around between 25 people. They're not all good.
No.
And when you break up, it's still a divorce, whether you were married or not.
Yeah.
It's still a divorce to you.
Yeah. Especially for a girl. If they've had sex and they break up, it is like a divorce. So God bless you, Bethany. Quickly, we've got 10 seconds. How do people get a hold of you?
BethanyJett.com. Jett has 2 T's. And on there you can find me on Facebook and a link to contact me if you want to.
Okay. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany.